For any human being to succeed in the world today, because there's so much change, there's so much disruption, and there's so much new coming into the world, there is really one thing that's got to be done. And it's the start of any journey towards into anything new. And without doing this one thing, nothing's going to happen. You may feel like you're making progress. I often felt like I was making progress. And in a way, I was. But all I was doing was getting to this one point, which has to happen for anything to change in a substantial way. And in our world today, many of us are feeling the pressure of this. It's surprising how simple the answer is and how elusive it is until you get to it. The first thing that I had to do to get to the point where I could build a business model that liberates not only me, but others was something that goes on behind the scenes. And it always goes on behind the scenes. And there's no other place to find it. And this is really the truth around creating anything new in the society. And when people are asking you, well, what are you doing? What are you building? What is it? And you get answers. And you go into those answers from them. You're going to start to understand what I'm talking about when you realize this. And I can't think of anything that's more important and more simple and less understood right now. And everybody's looking for an answer right now. They're trying to figure out. I see it everywhere I look, and maybe you do too. What do I do? Everything's changed. What do I do? I thought I would just be an attorney, or I thought I would be an economist, or I thought I'd learn to code, or I thought I'd do what my parents did, or thought I would do the opposite of what my parents did, or I thought I'd be a virtual nomad and get passive income from the online economy, or I thought, no, I don't want to do that. I want to live in a really nice house in a really nice neighborhood, so I'm going to go do that. And then I thought, oh, if I go to this school, this will happen. And I thought, oh, if I learn how to network, if I learn how to make content, oh, if I learn how to do this, oh, if I can, then I'll get what I want. What exactly are you doing is the question. What are you building? What are you creating is the question. And someone will give you the answer. Have you noticed this? Everywhere I look, there's an answer. Except the one place the answer exists. And when I get the answer, I still didn't look in the one place the answer exists because I'm learning about someone else's perspective on the only answer to dealing with change and knowing what to do in a society where everything's changed, a world where everything's changed and will continue to. This has always been true. It's just now more obvious and more urgent because people are going to get thrown out of their houses. Their kids aren't going to be able to get jobs. And if you're struggling through this, you're going to run out of money. And the answers are everywhere. And after a while, I noticed, wait a minute, this isn't working. Why? What exactly are you doing, Larry? And why are you doing it like that? You should do it like this, was the answer. And I said, okay, try it. And I did. And then the answer was keep going. Or you don't get it yet. Make these adjustments. Or work harder at it. Or learn more about it. And then a year goes by and 2 years go by. And the answer was It's not working. They say, yeah, but no, no, you don't understand. What I'm saying is this doesn't work at all. Doesn't work. When that became obvious in March of 2023, I stopped doing it. And I'll get to the very simple thing that I started doing in April of 2023. I asked myself, what will work? For who? For me. To do what? Get what I want. Well, what do you want? That was the first question. Decision is the first week on any red pill pathway of any kind and in any story. The stories explain all of it. What's the first week? Decision. What do I want? Where does the answer come from? It's always been the same place. You can call it whatever you want. It comes from inside. How it gets there? We got lots of books on that. You can learn about that. I've learned plenty. At the end of the day, it doesn't make any difference. I don't have to understand how. I need to understand my decision. Did I make it or didn't I? What is the decision? The decision is I'm going to figure it out. And I'm not going to listen to someone else's direction because they don't know. Not because they're bad, not because they're doing it wrong, not because I don't understand them, but because it's my journey, my decision. And I made the decision. And the decision was, I don't know, but I want to know. And I'm going to start paying attention to what I become aware of. And that is everything. That was the big change for me. Now, this is principle based. So this part is not just about me. This is about everyone. Building a business that liberates you from the life that you have so you can have the one you want, with the money in it you want, the people in it you want, the freedom in it you want, all of that always comes from the same decision. There are principles in life that always work, that are always true, and the core is finding them. Who finds them? Same answer. You do. I do. I don't have them for you, and you don't have them for me. We can do it together, but that's it. So people ask me, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are your KPIs? It's not working. Why isn't your campus full? Why aren't there all these people here? And my answer is they are here. You just can't see them yet. And you know what that makes me in our society? A nutcase. It it's not delusional. It can be though. So you got to understand the difference. There's a fine line between completely off your rocker and on the path. And it helps being around other people who get that a lot. And I am every day. And letting the ones go away that don't, that are wondering, is this going to work? Are you crazy? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't see it. And I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm like, no, it's not fine. I don't know what you're doing. I don't understand. Like, well, I can't really tell you much about this. It resonates with you or it doesn't, because it makes sense to me, and I'm not crazy, and I know it. I have been. Not, um, so I'm going to show you today what is going on behind the scenes with our workshops. And the workshops is an important part of our product on the entrepreneur experience, which is brought to you by Red Pill Pathway. And the reason is it says Red Pill Pathway, that's my company. And the entrepreneur experience is our platform that we've created. And the reason it's constructed like this as a brand is because there's going to be a lot of campuses. So we've got the entrepreneur experience, there'll be the coaching experience, there'll be the trusted advisor experience, there'll be the retail experience, there'll be the innovation experience. Whatever different groupings and markets start to show up, we will build experiences for them, platforms. So think about Amazon. So when Amazon started, it was books. So they didn't call it the book company, they called it Amazon because Jeff Bezos saw that early. He said, I'm going to try this in books and then I'll extend it out into everything, the store that sells everything. We're doing the same. So it can't be Red Pill Pathway because that's my stuff. That's my private client program for entrepreneurs that are vision oriented and don't want to take money because, oh, they want to take money maybe, but they don't want the investors to run the company because it'll ruin the vision every time. And then what you get at the end is a pile of money and a ruined company. Some people make that trade-off. I've never wanted to. And maybe you don't either. So that's a Red Pill Pathway mentoring capability. I don't do coaching, I do mentoring. The entrepreneur experience, the coaching experience, the trusted advisor experience, all these things where we've launched or launching is ready enough. And it's a living, breathing experience. And it's designed to liberate time, income, and purpose. And it's not a funnel. I don't have a sales funnel. It seems like a funnel because people are used to funnels. That's the point in a way. It's like, what box do you put this thing in that you don't understand yet? Who is this guy? I get that all the time. Who are you to say that? And I'm like, I'm just telling you what's going on with me. That's called experience sharing. And people get mad. I'm like, it's not a funnel. Yeah, but it is a funnel. You can't win that argument because it's not worth having. Um, so how do you build a workshop? How do we build our workshops? Anybody can do it any way you want. What I thought was, what doesn't work is somebody telling somebody what to do or think or do or be or any of that. Because I've been in enough of those. And I thought, this isn't flexible enough for me. I can't do it. And the person won't meet me where I am. I'm like, oh my God, do I have to redo everything again? You want me to go back to the positioning? You want me to go back to the branding? You want me to go back to the productivity? You want me to go back to the mindset? Like, this is not where I am. It's where they were. And I'm like, so now you want me to start over again? And I'll say, well, here's what I got. And they say, no, don't do it like that. Do it like this. Like, you just gave me another way to get the same place. I already did it. I don't need more of that confusion experience. So we thought, well, how do we do this? It's one thing to say that. It's another thing to change it and say, how do we do a workshop? And we did figure it out. It took a long time. It wasn't just me. Brian and I in particular worked really hard on this. There's really three things that have to happen. One is from resonance, not research. We build them from resonance, not research. That's such a strange statement that it's almost impossible to understand. So I'll illustrate it, not explain it. Second, with peers, not followers. Same thing. Very confusing today because everyone's is used to this idea of followers and all-knowing guru. So that's the social media system. So with peers, not followers. Third, and even if it's a really good guru that has figured out the answer and is going to workshop it so you know the answer. That's not what we're talking about here. We're not doing it like that. For prosperity, not pressure. Same thing. So we build the workshop thinking, how do we get people into prosperity, not feel pressure? They have to go do all this work and make their life more complex because it doesn't work. It's just another workshop then. And that's what everybody's feeling. And I saw that as I was talking about people. They're like, I'm too busy. I don't have time for this. And I'm thinking that's why you need the workshops. How do you complain? How do you explain that? So here's the advice: fix your elevator message. Like it's not a messaging problem. Like of course it is. Everything's a messaging problem. Get them to buy. Like I can't have this conversation anymore. I think I need to go. So here's how we build the workshops. And I'll get into the traps of these too. So the first is from resonance, not research. What does that mean, really? It comes from market experimentation. So I call the process more money now. And it's being in the marketplace over time with a defined group of people. So for me, it's been entrepreneurs, service providers, coaches of all kinds, business owners, people who've succeeded with a big audience, but their business isn't working the way they want, and wealthy people who want to know what to do with their money. So those are the five core categories that I have a lot of experience in. So it's resonance. I'm not doing research on them. There's no consumer insights. I don't use consumer insights. I was in the consumer insights business. I know how that works. And what happens is you get data and it changes immediately. So you're living off old data. So I like that's not going to work, especially not today. In the old days it worked because nothing ever changed. Today it doesn't work. So what's resonance? I have to stay connected to the people because that heartbeat is beating. It changes second to second to second to second. Being surrounded by the people in your market is the way to get there, not extracting consumer insights, market research, quant or qualitative analysis from the market, going to the marketing department, figuring out what to do, putting this whole thing together, bringing it out into the market, testing it, figuring out what works, looking at the KPIs, seeing it doesn't work anymore. Things are happening too quickly now. The model's old. It doesn't work. It didn't work for me. So I moved away from it. Had to, because I'm like, this isn't working. Again, asking them what to tell me. No, no, building it from my a different place with a group. So resonance. What resonates with who? All of us, me and other people. So when I put the coaching experience stuff together, it was with Louisa and Ellie Meadows, and I spent a lot of time with Judy Kane. And I get it too. So we got four people in here now thinking about it like this, and then other people were coming into the conversation. Brian, what do you, Mike? He's got great ideas about coaching, and I'm looking at Byron Katie and how she did it and how she impacted Steve Hardison, who kind of invented the life coaching industry, I think. So I'm like, okay, this is making sense. Rich Litvin, what he did versus some other approaches in the marketing industry and how that infiltrated coaching online. Resonance. So we created something in terms of workshops and private groups that really fits, not research. Resonance, not research. So that's one. Two, with peers, not followers. Peers. If I do a workshop and people come in and I say, follow me, I fail today. Because where are you following me to? It's done. You can't follow me anywhere. You can't follow anybody anywhere because things are changing too quickly. So what I just taught you is already finished. It's over. You do what I did yesterday, it won't work today. If you copy me, everything's changed. The LinkedIn stuff. I'm on LinkedIn now and I'm like, why isn't this working at all anymore? And it's because everyone on LinkedIn is selling. Everyone's looking for a job or a client. Everybody who looks at my stuff, listens to this video, reaches out to me in messaging, is trying to get my attention so they could sell me something. Almost everybody. And I'm like, oh, it's really changed. So if I learned LinkedIn a year ago or 2 years ago, it's not going to work anymore. Now I think this is going month to month. It's going so fast because of AI. So what is working? Mike's approach. Hounds of Business is working. My Trusted Teams is working. Building concentric circles of relationships with peers, partners, and mentors, and switching roles is working. How do I know? Because I'm doing it. I'm in it. I'm watching what's next, and I'm in what's next. And I was in the other stuff. Um, so if I keep looking for followers to follow me, what am I doing? I'm following and copying an old model that doesn't work today. So that's two. So in the workshops, it's about peer communication and peer connection in the room. It's not about me teaching something or anybody else in our workshop. So you go do it like that because it doesn't work because things changing too quickly, especially with AI. We're using AI in some really cool ways. And we will integrate that into the workshops and our product, the campus product. So you'll have an AI systems for almost everything, but we're not teaching people how to use AI because it's going to change in a week or two. It's understanding the infrastructure of AI and how it fits into a business to do different things within the business. That's important to understand, but not even understand, just do it. You just start doing it. Third is for prosperity, not pressure. This is the biggest thing I think in the society that's backwards right now, at least from my perspective. And I think Brian has really innovated in this more than anyone I've ever met. And Luis says, well, the two of them, and this is a big part of what I think about, but I really lean on them a lot, which is for prosperity, not pressure. And workshops lead to pressure. That's backwards. So if I signed up for something, now I feel pressure. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go do that and learn this new stuff. And that's why nobody wants to sign up for coaches anymore or pay for coaching. Because it's like, I'm so busy. I got so much stuff going on. I'm so overwhelmed. I need help, but I don't know what help I need. And it's pressure. So the solutions create more pressure in the person who pays when it's actually should be the opposite. Here's a little secret that is a prosperity secret. When you pay, you begin to get a result. The minute you pay, why? Decision. I made a decision to look at something different. The minute I pay for it, the minute I make the decision, but the decision has to include payment because I'm still talking myself out of it. The minute I pay and I take that leap, I feel better. I feel differently. Why? Because my mind knows it's going to get a result. My mind starts to relax. And I'm like, oh, there's hope. The minute I go into those workshops, the pressure ratchets back up again because now I have to learn all of this stuff because someone is putting pressure on me and saying, you got to do this way, and you got to do this way, and you got to do this way. I don't feel connected to it anymore. So now I start regretting and worrying and wondering if it's going to work. Did I make a mistake? That's what happens when I allow myself to be marketed to and sign up for something. I didn't know this was going on, but it is what's going on. So we looked at it and it's like, how do we do this differently? And the key to it is a living, breathing experience, which is what we created on this platform, which is designed to liberate time, income, and purpose. If I can liberate time, income, and purpose, then the workshop will work. No matter what it is, it doesn't matter. We've got workshops on operations improvement. We got workshops on liberation for business structures. We've got workshops on coaching industry improvement. If you're a coach, we got all, we're putting them all together, like almost everything. How to have a retail store will be coming at some point. How to have a successful service business. How to win as a plumber. Like we're gonna have all of it over time. We could build one in 10 minutes now. We've got the infrastructure to do it. And the structure for the workshop is integrated with the full campus. That's the key to it because it has to be a living, breathing experience designed to liberate time, income, and purpose, or it won't work. And people won't get a result. Can't copy that. It's just, it's done. It's over because it doesn't liberate time, income, or purpose. It just creates more work. And that's the last people want today. Thing people want today. They do not want more work or more effort into something or relearning or starting over or any of that. It's not what people want. What do people really want? is they want resonance, they want to be with peers, and they want to feel prosperous. That's it. And we got that. And then from that feeling state, I pay, I know it's going to work because I made a decision to invest in myself. I made a decision, not the person who sold it to me or marketed it to me. I didn't let them make the decision. Because they talked me into it. I made the decision to do it. The minute I made that decision and paid, I feel better. And then I'm go in it and I'm like, oh, I made a mistake. It's not content, it's mindset. I got to start over again. And I paid 5 grand or whatever. Or it's a mindset thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, my mindset's fine. It's not mindset at all. It's an energy problem. I'm not managing my energy properly. Damn it, I did it again. Another mistake. 150 grand of doing that for 2 years. And I kept hiring people. Oh, it's how to succeed on LinkedIn. I did that. I paid for that. I'm like, I already know how to succeed on LinkedIn. I already did. Why did I do it again? Fear and looking for an answer. This is a different way to do it because I don't want people to pay for a workshop they're not going to get a result in. And you don't have to. That's why we have the 7-day guest pass. So it's just, we'll help you figure out what you should do. And you don't have to pay for 7 days. You can join a workshop right away if you know. And if you know, because you'll know. That's resonance. You make the decision, you feel better immediately. You'll say, I did that. I made the decision. Nobody talked me into this. This is a confusing thing because I'm going to name some of the traps we fell into and what we do differently now in relation to that. If you want to build something that liberates you and that doesn't trap you into essentially like a job, so your business is like a job, or your entrepreneur vision is like a job, or your coaching practice becomes like a job, and now you got to figure it out. How do I be productive, get clients, network? That's not the way to do it, I found. Now, for some people, it's fine. They want to keep operating that way. But I think we're in a new world now, and we have been for a long time, like forever. The only difference is for me personally is I didn't understand it. So I fell into all the traps. So I'm naming traps, and we all name these traps. And one of the biggest ones for me is the trap of opinion is a big trap. So my opinion, their opinion, trying to figure out the right opinion and living up in these opinions as opposed to resonance and saying, oh, this connects for me. I don't trust that as much, but it's the answer. Second is the trap of impatience. That's my biggest one, which I've really released recently, like yesterday. Impatience. I have to go do something to solve this problem. That's a trap. If I'm in impatience, I'm going to make terrible decisions. We're going to help people release themselves from impatience before they buy so they get a better result. We have ways of doing that. So, Brian and I are two of the most impatient people you could ever meet. We're surrounded by some people who aren't. The most patient people you could ever meet. So it's a good balance to learn that. So if you're impatient, be careful. You're afraid to make a decision, and you should be, but you don't want to be afraid. You don't need to be afraid. The fear will go away when you decide. When you decide and you pay, you have to pay because paying is the commitment to yourself. I decided. It's proof. You just prove to yourself you're going to do it. If you don't pay, you're still on the fence with yourself, not with me or anybody. This is why I don't do any sales anymore, because I can't figure out where someone is with themselves. They've got to figure it out. That was my error, thinking I knew, because I could see through it. And I'm like, I think this will really work for you. And I tell people and they'd say, no, it won't. And I'm like, yeah, it will. And I think often I was right, but it doesn't matter because it's their decision. It's their life. And I could be wrong. I finally realized that, so I stopped doing this recently. Um, So this episode is about you want to build something that liberates you, not traps you in a job that you create. That's key. This is the last episode of Liberation Mechanics, and I'm starting a new show, the experience shows, the entrepreneur experience, the coaching experience, the trusted advisor experience. And then we'll have another series, which will be not on at the same time, but for the podcast, but they'll be broadcast live through Restream so we can capture all the data like we're doing with this and put it into the full content entrepreneur content system that we've created to scale the content, which you'll have access to too if you join our campus. And that will allow us to connect into a lot of different markets and bring people into these shows. So Meet the Liberation Mechanics is a way for you to meet the people who are involved in what we're doing as we talk about how we're doing things